Tonight, as the world outside grows quiet and the last sounds of the day fade into stillness, we are going to visit the most fascinating address in all of human knowledge. The edge, the place where our maps run out, where the brightest minds on Earth have stood, looked out at the horizon, and said in genuine, beautiful humility that they simply do not know. Let your body settle, let your breathing slow, because what we're about to explore isn't frightening, it's the opposite. These are the questions that remind you that existence is so much richer and stranger than it ever had to be. 10 things, 10 open doors, 10 invitations from the universe to keep wondering. Let's begin. 1. Why is there something rather than nothing? This is the oldest question, the deepest one. Before physics, before biology, before any science at all, there is this. Everything that exists could, in perfect logical principle, simply not exist. There is no contradiction in a universe of total absolute nothing. No matter, no space, no time, no laws of nature. Just nothing, forever. And yet here, everything is. Here you are. Here the stars are, burning in their billions across a cosmos so vast, the mind dissolves trying to picture it. Physics can trace the universe back to a fraction of a second after it began. But it cannot tell us why it began. Why there was a first moment at all. Why the laws that govern reality exist rather than no laws, no reality, no anything. The most fundamental fact of existence, that there is existence, remains at its root unexplained, which means you are living inside a mystery so deep that no one has reached the bottom of it. And somehow, that is one of the most comforting things in the world. 2. What is consciousness? Right now, as these words reach you, something extraordinary is happening. You are experiencing them. There is a felt quality to this moment, the warmth of where you lie, the soft drift of your own thoughts, the specific texture of being here, in this life, at this hour. That felt quality, the fact that there is something it is like to be you, is what philosophers call consciousness. And it is, without question, the most intimate mystery on this list. Not the largest, the most personal. Neuroscience has mapped the brain's activity with breathtaking precision. We can trace the pathways of perception, trace the flicker of thought across neural networks, watch the brain respond in real time to music and memory and emotion. But not one of these discoveries has answered the deeper question. Why does any of it feel like anything? Why aren't we simply biological machines processing information in the dark, with no inner experience at all? No one knows. The most basic fact of your inner life, the sheer fact that you are here, noticing, feeling, wondering, remains one of the great unsolved mysteries in all of science. And tonight, as you drift towards sleep, that mystery is happening inside you, continuous and quiet and extraordinary. 3. Why do we sleep? This one may surprise you. You will spend roughly a third of your entire life asleep. The pressure to sleep is so powerful that going without it becomes a physiological emergency faster than going without food. Every complex animal with a brain sleeps without a single known exception. And yet the complete reason why remains genuinely unclear. We have rich partial answers. Sleep consolidates memory. Sleep allows the brain to flush its own waste products through a remarkable internal cleaning system discovered only recently. Sleep regulates hormones, emotions, immune function. But why does consciousness need to be suspended for this? Why not simply dim rather than disappear entirely? There is still something about sleep, something central and important that science has not fully grasped. And perhaps there is something beautiful about that. The thing your body is already beginning to do right now, this ancient and faithful process carrying you gently into restoration, still holds a secret. 4. What is dark energy? In 1998, astronomers made a discovery so unexpected, it rewrote our picture of the cosmos entirely. They had been measuring distant, exploding stars to track how the universe's expansion was slowing over time. Gravity, they assumed, must be pulling everything gradually back together. Instead, they found the opposite. The universe isn't slowing down, it's accelerating. Something is pushing everything apart faster and faster, something that permeates all of space and behaves like gravity in reverse. They called it dark energy, and it makes up approximately 68% of everything the universe contains. We do not know what it is. We cannot detect it directly. We only know it is there because of what it does. 68% of the universe, the dominant ingredient of all of reality, is completely unknown. Lie with that for a moment, softly, without trying to resolve it. The universe is mostly something we have no name for yet. 5. How did life begin? Life appeared on Earth remarkably early, within the first billion years of the planet's existence, perhaps much sooner. And from that first spark, it has diversified into every environment on Earth, into every crack and depth and extreme the planet offers. But how the first spark happened, how non-living chemistry gave rise to something we can call alive, how the first self-replicating molecule arose from a sea of interesting but inert ingredients remains one of the hardest problems in science. The building blocks of life form naturally. Amino acids, the components of proteins that have been found in meteorites. Simple organic molecules arise spontaneously under early Earth conditions. But the gap between interesting chemistry and a living, self-replicating, evolving system is vast. Life is everywhere on this planet, and we still cannot fully explain its beginning. The origin of the thing that makes Earth remarkable, including you, is still, at its root, a mystery. 6. Does free will exist? Every day you make choices. You decided to lie down tonight. You are choosing, in some sense, to listen right now. The experience of choosing, of being the author of your own life, is so central to being a person that questioning it feels almost absurd. But the brain begins preparing for a movement before you are consciously aware of deciding to make it. Your neural machinery is already setting the action in motion while the experience of deciding is still arriving in your awareness. If the brain acts before you decide, who is deciding? Philosophers and neuroscientists have wrestled with this for decades without resolution. Whether free will, in the way we intuitively understand it, is real. Whether you are truly the author of your choices or a remarkably sophisticated witness to a process already underway is one of the most personal and unsettling open questions in science. 7. Is there life elsewhere in the universe? Hundreds of billions of galaxies, each containing hundreds of billions of stars. Many of those stars orbited by planets. Many of those planets in conditions that could support life. The universe is almost incomprehensibly large and almost incomprehensibly old, and yet no confirmed signal, no artifact, no reply to any of the messages we've sent into the dark. This silence is known as the Fermi paradox, and it is one of the deepest puzzles in science. Perhaps life is extraordinarily rare and we are nearly alone. Perhaps civilizations regularly destroy themselves before they can reach across the stars. Perhaps others are out there, and the signals are already traveling toward us, and we are simply early. The universe has been making stars for 13 billion years. It will continue making them for trillions more. In cosmic terms, we may have just arrived. 8. What is at the bottom of the ocean? We have mapped the surface of Mars in greater detail than the floor of our own oceans. More than 80% of the deep ocean remains unexplored. And in the small fraction, we have visited those lightless, crushing, freezing depths. We have found extraordinary and entirely unexpected life. Creatures that feed not on sunlight but on chemical energy. Species that seem almost to belong to a different world entirely. What else is down there? What lives in the darkness we haven't yet sent a light into? The most alien environment on Earth is not in space. It is underneath the water, covering 70% of this planet's surface, and it is still largely unknown. 9. What was before the Big Bang? The standard answer is that the question doesn't quite make sense. That time itself began with the Big Bang, so there is no before, the same way there is no north of the North Pole. But this answer, while technically coherent, doesn't fully satisfy. Because the intuition that something cannot arise from absolute nothing, that even the Big Bang must have come from somewhere, persists. Various theories propose eternal inflation, cyclic universes, quantum fluctuations in pre-existing fields. Each one pushes the question back a step without fully answering it. What existed before the universe is one of the questions that sits at the very edge of what science can reach. And it may always remain there, a horizon that recedes as we approach it, always just beyond the reach of any instrument we could build. 10. Why does any of this feel like anything? We end where we began, because this is the question beneath all the others. Why is there experience? Why, in a universe that could in principle have been pure physics without any inner life, is there something it feels like to be here? You are experiencing right now. The quiet, the dark, the comfortable weight of your body, the soft approach of sleep. Why? No instrument has measured it. No equation has captured it. No theory has explained why organized matter should generate the felt sense of being. And in that unexplained fact, in the sheer irreducible miracle of your experience, happening right now, quietly and continuously, there is something worth resting in. You are the universe's greatest mystery, not out there in the depths of space or the equations of physics, right here, in you. Let the 10 questions float above you now like stars. You don't need to answer them tonight. You only need to breathe and wonder and sleep. Good night.